We look at sustainability not only from real estate portfolio perspective, but we look at how we do business. As you know, our cloud technology helps companies to kind of save significant carbon footprint instead of having their own IT infrastructure within their spaces. So we also consider it as a business value proposition, not only from real estate perspective. Another reason is that we see it as a responsibility and opportunity as well. I think sustainability will make more, will be more and more important for making decisions in this industry. This is the Microsoft's real estate commitment to harnessing power of technology to help everyone everywhere build a more sustainable future. So how do we do that? How we will get there? And probably some of you heard about our very ambitious goals. I think in the industry they are seen very ambitious. So we are targeting to be carbon negative by 2030. I will come to what it means. We are trying to protect more land than we operate by 2030. And we are targeting to be a zero waste company by 2030 and water positive by 2030. So on carbon negative, so our goal is reducing our emissions by half in 2030 and also remove more carbon than we emit as Microsoft. And how it will work, we will achieve that, I will come into the next slide. And in terms of ecosystems, how would you protect more land than you operate? So I asked this question as well, how would this work? And the answer was like, we are doing significant projects to restore habitats, support the animals that are close to be extinction. And also on zero waste, we are doing a circular economy goals in our campuses and offices. And I will come to that. So Microsoft, just for your information, to give you an idea, Microsoft has 3 million server devices in 160 data centers around the world. And every 5 years, we are usually replacing the servers. So it's a significant electronic waste. And we are working on how we can reduce that, how we can minimize that and reach to zero waste. And on water, we are trying to get water positive by 2030, and we are building very, very interesting campuses which are zero net potable water, which is using the rainwater and other things to reuse the water. Almost 40% of the total carbon emissions are coming from the built environment. So that puts really a big responsibility on my department at Microsoft. So we have a sustainability lead who is in Redmond, in our mothership campus in Seattle, and we are driving this agenda with big investments, which I will come to. The next slide gives a little bit more information about how we do it, what we do about it. So we have around 1,800 cars or bus shuttles that we are trying to electrify now around the world, which helps with the carbon emissions. So people don't drive to our campuses, they use our shuttles to reduce their carbon footprints. Obviously reducing energy consumption, with I think many of these companies here in construction area help with their softwares, with their solutions, which is also very important for us. We are targeting to procure 100% renewable energy by 2025, and obviously some people in Middle East, Africa, you know that it's in certain countries it's not very easy. So how we will do that? We will do it as much as we can. We will generate power on sites like solar panels and so on. And for other countries where we cannot find any partners, we will purchase carbon certificates for the electricity we use elsewhere that we cannot use renewable electricity. And reduce embodied carbon. So that's very important as well. I think especially the experts in this room, this is a very important thing. Probably not everyone is paying attention enough. So there are really nice carbon calculators for construction, for designers as well. I will tell about what we have done in our Silicon Valley campus just to reduce embodied carbon into that campus. We use different materials, and now there's a very good EC3, they call it EC3 calculator for embodied carbon for construction calculator, which is available, which is online. You can all log in and see what materials brings you what kind of carbon impact in your buildings. So, and also obviously eliminating fossil fuel usage. So that's on carbon goal. On water, reducing water consumption, I think that's kind of popular now. Wherever I go, I see this sensor flash in the washrooms and so on. Design fit for purpose buildings, address water usage in water stress regions. In ecosystems, I mentioned about protecting more land than we occupied. Sourcing FSC certified wood, I will come to that in our Silicon Valley project. Circular economy, waste, and design. So we are targeting to get LEED Gold and Platinum for every site which is larger than 75,000 square foot. So these are basically how we will get there by 2030 to these ambitious goals. On this slide, I want to talk about our aspirations, our goals, and how we will get there. And also, I want to also underline that sometimes things we don't see often have the greatest impact. So increasing that awareness is very important among our customers, our employees, and in our ecosystem as Microsoft. The bigger the opportunity is, the greater the responsibilities. And with our big office real estate portfolio, I think we feel responsible as Microsoft. Pillars of our approach. Obviously, it's planning. I think that's for the sites, especially for our campuses, where we work with designers, with builders to build these campuses in line with our requirements. And then there's the build cycle, where we minimize construction waste, we reuse materials. And then there's operation part, where we use we kind of work with our facility management partners, and they have KPIs on sustainability as well. So they are targeted to achieve certain goals, and communicating, of course, sharing and increasing the awareness on sustainability. So this is the pillars of our approach. And on the communication part, we started this. It's our nature campaign. This has been shared with all the employees, what we are doing, how we are getting there. And I'm proud to say that every country that Microsoft operates, we have a sustainability task force from different businesses. As you know, we have Azure business, we have Office 365 business, we have Windows, we have devices. So every business brings someone to that task force, and then we discuss what can we do in that country. And sometimes they are real estate and facilities related. Sometimes there are other things. As I mentioned, the moving customers into the cloud is a big achievement alone, because then you are saving a lot on your server rooms. This is the EC Carbon calculator tool that I strongly recommend you to check it online. It tells about what's your impact while building, and also I will talk about Silicon Valley campus in a second, because I think it's worth to mention. So this is our RENF's vision, real estate and facilities vision, and this is a little bit more about how we will get there in terms of our goals. Water consumption is an important one. Protecting our ecosystems is important, and there are many things that I can mention. For example, in our Munich campus, we are having beehives. Maybe you have seen some of those in other companies as well. We are ensuring that whenever we build our offices, it's kind of blending in with the local ecosystem. We are not bringing in, for example, landscaping which requires significant water usage. We use adaptive or local landscaping plants for our campuses. So I want to come in a second about to Middle East, what we'll do, but before that I would like to show you our campuses that we have done great achievements on. These are the big sites that we have. The Hyderabad campus is still in construction, and we are doing great things there. So in Silicon Valley project, which has been completed recently, we have a thermal energy storage, which we can use for off the peak hours as well. So this is the largest wood structure in North America, with 347,000 square foot of cross-laminated timber. And why we use cross-laminated timber? Because cross-laminated timber has the lowest embodied carbon if you compare it to concrete or steel structure. So that's a great campus that I would definitely recommend you to learn more about. On our Puget Sound campus, which is in Seattle, we are powering the campus with 100% local carbon-free hydropower coming from the nearest dams, and we use harvested rainwater there as well. there's a campus modernization happening in Puget Sound campus now, which there are really amazing things that we use there with AI. So we are using Azure technology. We bring weather forecasts. We use occupancy sensors to understand how busy is the office, and then the HVAC system gets this information and adjusts the temperatures accordingly. This is bringing significant lower carbon reduction in our operation, which we piloted with 4 buildings, and then we are trying to reach to 36 buildings in a year with that technology. Obviously, Microsoft has partners doing all these things. We provide the technology, but this ecosystem, you are very important to get there together. So this is about this Silicon Valley project where we use the cross-laminated timber to reduce our embodied carbon in that construction. This is our sustainability is our standard, as I said, and we would like to show what is possible. Obviously, sometimes there are cases that just for doing sustainability related initiative, it doesn't just justify the project or investment. The next slide is about the AI technology that I was mentioning about, which is getting the weather forecasts, predicting the building occupancy with machine learning, and adjusting HVAC systems accordingly. So far, with 4 buildings, there was a $15,000 saving on cost as well. So it shows that sustainability is not always costly. You save money as well. And when we project that we reach to whole buildings in campus, it will be $500,000 saving in the campus. This is also another good example that how Microsoft is pushing the businesses, the ecosystems. Probably some of you know Alki water dispensers. So we partnered with Alki in our North America sites, and now we are giving juices because we have beverages in our office, which is free for employees. And that's creating significant carbon footprint with cans and with bottles and so on. So we said we will have our reusable cups, and then we will deliver beverages through Alki Smartwell devices. So as you can see, we are pushing the industry towards that direction to be more careful on our sustainability goals. This is either about where we are using the rainwater, we are reusing the water from the chillers, from dry coolers, from HVAC systems. This tells about the embodied carbon in construction calculator. This is a good story I would like to share. So there was a storm in Milan, in Italy, and then there were many trees on the floors, on the streets, and then our RANF team came up with the idea, I will use that wood, which is kind of coming on the streets, and they worked with an artist in Italy, and then they built this beautiful reception desk from the trees falling off the streets. So this is a nice story, I think, which gives you an idea what you can do. And this is creating, obviously, awareness. This is a good story. Whenever a visitor comes to the site, you tell about this and shows what we think about it. This is the food waste in Bengaluru. I'm proud to say that we implemented something similar in, this is for energy generation, but we did a biodigester in Dubai office in Internet City as well. So we are using the food waste from our vendor site, and then we are giving it as a fertilizer to our employees, this food waste in reusable bottles. So this is about Johannesburg, what we have done in Johannesburg in terms of using rainwater for our RANF real estate facilities needs. And I will tell you about now what we are doing in Middle East when we are selecting building while we are in our operations, in our office operations and so on. One very important thing in our building selection is the sustainability view of the landlords, of the building developer. And we have seen in some markets, there's this understanding now. So the landlords are building really, they are paying attention to this. They are bringing the experts in building buildings with sustainability in mind. And then we have a scoring matrix for building selection. And I can tell you that for that scoring matrix, sometimes we are valuing scoring the sustainability more than the cost. So I don't know if this is like the other side of the table for you. Sometimes I know that investors are, oh, this is too expensive, people won't pay attention. But companies like Microsoft do. So we select buildings based on their value on the sustainability. So other than that, this is while selecting the building. Obviously in some cities, some markets, it's not that easy. But also we are looking at accessibility. Would people be able to access to these buildings? And also how we operate it. we bring these partners to us for recycling and so on. I will see if there's any question that I can try to answer.
I'm going to ask a bit of a cheeky question because Bill Gates, obviously, Microsoft, he's written and campaigned on avoiding climate disaster. How closely do you feel sort of he's backing what you do, and does that kind of root through into the culture of the company now and your work as well?
Right. I think it does. Obviously, Bill Gates is he's very supportive of any sustainability-related actions, any programs, and so on. And also, pandemics like COVID, he was very vocal about what we need to do, what we should do. But Bill Gates is not anymore on the execution part of things. So he completely pulled his hands from it. But Satya Nadella, our CEO, is very passionate about sustainability, and I think that boils down to every country manager, every general manager in each country. So they are the sponsor of these sustainability task forces that I was telling you about in each country. And I think they are asked, what are you doing about sustainability in the country that you operate? I'm asked. This is in my performance index as well. So to the short answer, yes, I think there's an influence from there, but I think there's more than just Bill Gates about Microsoft sustainability goals.